Okay, I'm going to do the hub assignment and hopefully not make too many mistakes, and maybe you can follow along. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the poly 0. I'm going to go to the center, draw a circle, and I'm going to go edit objects, and it's going to be 310 microns in size. Now I'm going to draw the poly 0 circle. Okay, again, start in the middle, draw a circle, go to edit object. Okay, and that one is going to be 300 microns. Ooh, it's starting to look pretty good. So what else do I have to do? Well, I got to make a hole. So the hole is in poly 1, so that's hole 1. Again, I got the circle selected, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle. And the hole, if I look at my design specifications, poly 1 center hole is 15 microns. Well, that's obviously too big what I drew there. I need to make it 15. So I go edit, radius, 15. And notice I've been snapping to the center, so everything is already centered. Okay, there's my hole. So now I got to make a poly 2 hubcap. Hubcap. Edit. Oops, sorry, I got to draw it first. So it's in poly 2. Select poly 2. Circle's already selected. Go ahead and make a circle. Go to edit. Edit objects. Okay, and what did I say that one was? Poly 2 hubcap is 30 microns. Okay. So I made this crazy little structure out in the left. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Control B after selecting it. All right, so what do I have now? I've got the hub, I've got the hole. I need an anchor. I need an anchor 2 because I want to anchor the poly 2 hubcap, okay, to the poly 0 substrate. So I made my anchor 2 way too big. So I'm going to go edit the object again. And that sucker's got to be, let's see, anchor 2, 10 micron radius. Okay, hit OK. Now I've got that hub. So far, so good. I got my ground plane, I got my anchor 2, I've got my poly 1 center hole, I've got my poly 1 disk, my poly 2 hubcap. So all that's left is really a dimple ring. And then finally I'm going to make the release holes. So the dimple ring, remember I can use the tori function or the boolean. I like tori. It's a little bit easier to use. I go select dimple, I select the tori, and I'm going to go ahead and make it out here. There's one circle. There's another circle. Okay, now when I make a structure, it's automatically selected until I select something else. I'm going to go ahead and edit objects. Okay, and now this is really interesting. It comes up with a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave the center alone. I'm going to show you in a minute how to center things if you have a bunch of structures. But the radius has to be fixed. So the outer radius is 250. The inner radius, radius 1, is 245. Okay, you hit OK. Now that's the correct size. And I'm going to get it close to being centered, but not quite. You can see my dimple ring is off center. I'm going to go ahead and select everything. I'm going to go ahead and select the whole thing. Boom. All the circular structures are now selected. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, I'm going to go to draw a line, center and middle. And now everything is centered. Okay? So now you have the entire structure done. The only thing I have left to draw are the release holes. So I can go in and start drawing little release holes, or I can use my EasyMems function. First I've got to select the structure. So I select only the poly 1 disk, and I go to EasyMems, hit plate release. Okay, I want my etch holes to be 5 microns by 5 microns. And the spacing, I'm going to make 25 microns. Okay, just to buy us a little bit of tolerance. and then I have to select the layer, and I went through this in another video, but I'm going to select which layer. Hole 1. So where the heck is it? There it is, hole 1. Okay, so I'm going to make holes with this array, and I'm not going to create dimples because I already have my dimple ring. So I hit OK, and there are the holes. So you can see we've got some release holes that were thrown in at the hub, which is probably not a good idea. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the snap of 1 micron, so I can select these things. I select one, do Control B, select another one, and delete the wrong thing. Always have to make sure you delete the right thing. You might end up without a hub or something. Okay, so you get the idea. You select the individual ones that interfere with the hub. Then you can go back to View, Home, get everything that you just drew in there, and then you can start deleting the things around the edges if they're too close. But you have to remember that the release holes are part of the Poly 1 mask, so you don't have any alignment issues to worry about. Okay? The only other problem, other than the hub, is interference with the dimple ring. You don't want to put one of these release holes right on the dimple ring. So if I go ahead and I zoom in on this side, you can see all of these dimple holes are interfering with the dimple ring. I'm sorry, they're not dimple holes, they're release holes are interfering with the dimple ring. So I'm going to go ahead and use my selection tool and select the ones that are interfering, then do a Control B and get rid of them. Okay? And sometimes you might have to move a few of these around. The other approach you can use is you can select one of them, okay, and you can move them off of the dimple ring. So you can do that. Okay. You can't really have too many release holes, but you can have too few. So you can kind of move these things around, and that way you can also make sure you're not interfering with the dimple ring, and make sure that you have enough holes to be consistent with the design rules. All right, so that's all of it in a nutshell. And I'm not going to finish getting rid of the other release holes that are in the way of the dimple ring. I'll leave that up